Hello, and welcome to the Vocation the Business Leader podcast. I'm Greg Balster, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. This is the podcast where we explore the powerful intersection of faith and business, hearing from business leaders who let Christ and the teachings of the church guide their every step. In each episode, we'll share inspiring stories and real-life experiences, providing encouragement for those striving to live out their faith courageously in the workplace. Together, we will discover what it means to live an undivided life, where our work is a true reflection of our love for God. Thank you for tuning in. Let's meet our guest, Dr. Gregory Creed. Dr. Creed, Greg,
Hello.
would you kind of give us a little background about yourself?
Sure. I'm a professional counselor in Greeley, Colorado, and I have a practice called Creed Marriage and Family Counseling. Work with couples and adults, families, and children. And then I do some other work, some teaching, and work at a local Catholic school here too, seeing kids there.
Okay.
And I'm married. I've been married for, 25 years, almost. And I have three kids. We're just about to have a new grandchild. So I'll be 5 grandchildren altogether.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Blessed man. So I was looking at your bio on LinkedIn, and I saw that you had a bachelor's of business and management in Spanish. Okay.
Yeah.
And so then you graduated in 86.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 1990, you went to Japan to teach English.
Actually, I went in 1986. I went in 86.
Okay.
And was there till 88, and then left for about a year to Spain, and then back to the United States, and then back to Japan until 1996.
Okay, so why Japan?
Well, I had just a growing interest in Japan. When I was doing my undergraduate work, I had met some Japanese people, made some Japanese friends, and both when I studied abroad in Spain and then at my university, or the college where I went to in Kansas. And I had really just wanted to go over and visit Japan. Found this opportunity for teaching on the what is now called the Japan Exchange Teaching Program. Decided to apply and got accepted, and never regretted it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you met Tomoko.
Yeah, Tomoko, my wife.
Yes.
So I went over in 86, and she was a student in Kyoto where I was placed. And not my student, she was a college student, and I had just graduated from college. And we met after I had been there for about 9 months, and we met at a mutual birthday party. The party had 4 people total. That was a small birthday party, and we had a lot of time to.
Mm-hmm. That's good. So then, when you came back to the States, you went into a master's degree in counseling.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So how did you decide to go into counseling?
Well, okay. So I was teaching English in Japan, first on that Japan Exchange and Teaching Program. And then after that, I opened up my own school. I called it Gregory's English, and just put a little spin on words there. And I did that for about 6 years. And I really enjoyed, and then I also was teaching municipally at that time. But I really enjoyed the teaching and working with other teachers and students, and I had worked in a teacher training center, and though I enjoyed it very much and considered going into getting a master's in teaching English as a foreign language, I decided I didn't want to teach English for the rest of my life. So, and wanted to change careers, and I had developed an interest in psychology and just a lot of reading and so on, and decided that maybe if I were going to get a master's, I would get a master's in counseling psychology. And my wife was very supportive, and we had kind of thought at the time that it would be good for us to experience life in the United States, since we had been living in Japan for 6 years of our married life and had our two first children in Japan. Mm-hmm. And we both thought that the cultural experience would be good for my wife and for our marriage, because it would help us to understand each other better. Mm. So our plan was to come here for 3 years, and that was in 1996. Obviously, that period got extended. By the time I had finished my degrees, we were pretty settled in, and our kids were settled in. So,
yeah. So, what drew you to counseling?
Well, I had wanted to be kind of a business entrepreneur or something like that. That was kind of my idea, and I've always loved languages. So, I had these interests in Japan and in Spain and just other places and learning languages. And but then when I started teaching, I realized I really like kind of helping professions. And though teaching English was not quite enough, and so I just had this deep interest in psychology, how people work, probably trying to figure out how my own mind works as well. Mm-hmm. So amid all of that, I just kind of concluded that counseling might be it. And I'd gone to I see a counselor in Japan for a little bit when I was kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. He was a Canadian guy, and he was really helpful, and it just kind of like spurred that idea that I would like to go into counseling. And so that's kind of how it developed, and just from my reading and whatnot, kind of drew me in that direction.
Yeah. So then you got your master's degree, and then you went right and got your for your PhD.
PhD, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you opened up transitions during that time. So tell me about how opening up a new business and
yeah,
how was that?
Well, yeah. So I got my master's degree in counseling, community counseling with marriage and family emphasis, and started working right away in mental health. And I was working for two people as an independent contractor here at an agency in Greeley. And I don't know, being in the mental health center just looked a little bleak to me. And then a professor approached me and said, "How would you like to get the PhD in counselor education and supervision?" And I go, "Yeah, sure." And then I talked with my wife about it, and we had to kind of hash that out because it's a big deal. But those two people that I was working with had an agency called Transitions, and they were doing some contracting with the county for the TANF program, which is temporary assistance for needy families. So we were working with a lot of those people, trying to help them back into the workforce and with family issues and all kinds of things. And it was fun. It was interesting work. And those original founders decided they wanted out, so my other business partner and I decided we would buy in, and then we developed Transitions and did continued social service programming, and then started seeing a lot of self-pay clients. And then recently I started a new agency.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about that new agency.
So it's Creed Marriage and Family Counseling. And I started that to have something that would be easy for me to move into semi-retirement if I want, to just give me more flexibility and more like control of what I'm doing, and it's been great. That practice grew quickly and is full, and I'm really enjoying the variety of clients I have.
Mm-hmm.
And
And do you do some work with CatholicTherapist.com?
I do. So I have a profile on CatholicTherapist.com, and I also have a on my website CreedCounseling.com, and then
Mm-hmm.
also on the Gottman Referral Network, which is for couples counseling. And I lost track of your question. What was the question again?
Um, just the Catholic therapist. I saw that
Oh yeah,
you have.
yeah. And then so I've been associated with the Catholic Psychotherapy Association, and I was treasurer of that organization for about 5 years, president for 1 year, and just that's just to help build up the body, build up a professional organization for Catholic therapists,
Mm-hmm.
where you can learn more about integrating counseling or psychology with the faith, or the other way around, however you want to look at that. But that integration of faith and professional work, and that's been a really great supportive organization, and it's going strong now. There's a journal, and um, they have some professional training and annual conferences, and it's been growing a lot, and so and it's allowed me to get to know a lot of other therapists, and so I know several other Catholic therapists in this area that I work with. We kind of refer back and forth and consult with each other, that kind of thing, and then also across the country,
Mm-hmm.
people that I've gotten to know.
Mm-hmm. So, how do you feel having an integrated faith and work life benefits you psychologically?
Hmm. That's a good question. I think it really benefits my work to have a good understanding of Christian Catholic anthropology, um, just a deeper understanding of the human person, and so that definitely helps my work, and I tend to believe that when faith really helps us psychologically, because I think when you really know who you are, um, who God is, and that you belong to God, you're a child of God, a son of God, that uh, it gives you a lot of confidence, and it gives you meaning and purpose, and um, I think that's very helpful psychologically to have a strong identity in Christ, and just to, I guess I could say, really know who you are, and also to have a presence of God through your day.
Mm-hmm. So
Without that,
you
life can seem bleak, or
yeah.
and I know a lot of happy people who don't necessarily have God in their life. So I don't want to say that um, but I just find that having a relationship with Christ, with God,
Mm-hmm.
is very helpful and psychologically beneficial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you do some work with the St. John Vianney Seminary in Denver.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So what kind of work do you do there?
So um, I do I've been teaching two classes, and I started there in 2008, teaching. It's called Pastoral Marriage and Family Counseling, and then also Pastoral Psychology. And so those are taught in First Theology and in the Deacon year, and that's been a really great gig. I've really gotten to enjoy. I've enjoyed getting to know the various seminarians, and so I know all the priests that were ordained 2008 on, really,
Mm-hmm.
in Denver, and that's uh, quite a quite a joy, and just nice to have gotten to know them and see them from their formation in seminary to where they are now. Yeah,
Counseling with.
yeah, and I'll get calls from priests, questions about parishioners or couples they're dealing with, or issues that come up at their school that they're
Mm-hmm.
in charge of, those kinds of things. And it's always great to consult
Mm-hmm.
and to be of service in that way too. So I never mind getting a call or an email from a priest.
Oh, of course not. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. And I know that you're very involved with Opus Dei.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about Opus Dei for people who are not familiar with it.
Well, Opus Dei, it's also known as the work or work of God, and so um, it's a means of formation, really, for men and for women. Though the women and men's branches are separate, and I got interested really in Opus Dei because of the formation and the things I was learning. The the formation I was getting through circles, monthly circles, or through going to evenings of recollection where we'd have adoration and confession and meditations and a lay talk was, you know, a good help to my formation and also retreats. I just found I was learning a lot and it's helping me to be a better father, or better husband. Well, you'd have to ask my wife, but I think it was making me a better husband.
Mm-hmm.
She loves to send me off to a retreat. I think she wants me to learn some things. So the the formation has been great. So that was kind of the hook for me, and then also the fraternity and um, the, the things I learned, and I just met at Opus Dei through some friends here in Greeley. I happened to be walking into a paint store that was also a hobby store, which was also a coffee shop. It used to be called Hometown, and some friends were sitting in there, and my friend John came up to me and said, "Hey, would you like to join our men's reading group?" And they were reading encyclicals by Saint John Paul II,
Okay.
and I was like, "Sure." And three of those guys in there were members of Opus Dei. One was another fellow who became a deacon, and then there were a couple other guys, just really good guys, and we were reading those encyclicals and kind of studying together.
Mm-hmm.
We did that for a couple of years, and one of the guys was inviting me to first year I was busy, second year I was busy, the third year my wife said, "You just need to clear off your calendar and go." And so I went, and then I've gone every year since, and because I really got so much out of it. So.
Mm-hmm. So, what would you say to business leaders out there of the benefits of Opus Dei and how that would help them in their
Mm-hmm.
work and faith life?
Yeah. Well, you don't have to be a member to benefit from many of the ideas uh, uh, that are promoted in Opus Dei. Um, you can be a cooperator, or you can be somebody who just, I mean, the ideas in Opus Dei are not different from teachings in the church.
Right.
I think they're just uh, presented and reiterated in a way that we learn them.
Mm-hmm.
One is having presence of God throughout your day, and that could be through aspirations, through having regular prayer time, through mortification, a practice of mortification, um, and I think the concept of divine filiation um, is another aspect that really helps, and then unity of life. So unity of life would say that my life is the same at work, in prayer, with my family. It's all one. So I'm not a different person when I go to work than I am when I'm praying in
Mm-hmm.
front of the Eucharist, or at my home in the morning when I wake up. I'm the same person, and I try to have that unity of life. And of course, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
It's an ascetical struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think those are some of the ideas and practices that really help, and also the idea of sanctification of work. Um, so the idea and concept that that we learn about is that you strive to sanctify your work by doing it well, offering it to God. You sanctify yourself through your work,
Mm-hmm.
and then you sanctify others through your work, and that's directly or indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
It's, yeah, truly an undivided life. Um, so you are a supernumerary, correct?
Yes, mm-hmm.
So tell me, so what is that, and what is that involved?
That's it's a member of the work who uh, is married but not necessarily married, can be married.
Okay.
Most supernumeraries are married, but not all of them are. And a supernumerary just lives the norms of uh, of piety, daily, weekly, monthly, always, and then also just strives to live the spirit of Opus Dei, prays for the work, prays for the cooperators every day. And cooperators are people who are not members of the work, but who in some way want to contribute or get formation through activities of the work. And the work also has celibate members, and that members that would those would be called numeraries, or an associate. An associate is very similar to a numerary, but a numerary would live in a center of the work, and and an associate may live independently. And but yeah.
Okay. So what would you say to business leaders out there on how to live an undivided life? It's difficult, when
Mm-hmm.
you work at a secular business.
Yeah.
Um, you don't need to preach,
Mm-hmm.
but what would you say to give encouragement to business
Yeah. Yeah.
professionals that
So there's challenges. I guess the first thing is to we have to do everything we can to be connected to our Lord through prayer. Um, I mean, that's the first thing. Everything flows out of that for our family life, for our work life, and of course there are challenges in a secular world, but that's right where God put us, and I think we're called to be leaven, to
mm,
raise up society through doing good work, through being loving and caring with other people, being thoughtful, and sometimes sharing the faith, but not necessarily. You can be a shoe shiner, you know, or work in a fast food restaurant, and you can sanctify your work, and you can have that what did you call it? Unity of
mhm.
life, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, especially when you keep a presence of God. And of course, I think we're divided as human beings. I mean, St. Paul speaks pretty eloquently about this in the epistles, how we're divided. You know, the spirit wants one thing and the body wants another, and so it's always an ascetical struggle,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And sometimes, like at work, we just lose track of God. I could go for 3 hours and it's like, oh, I haven't even thought about God. At least I've offered my day first thing in the morning.
Hmm. Yeah.
But sometimes we have to bring ourselves back, into having aspirations or praying for the people that we're working with, um, offering an hour of work, those kinds of things, and just quiet things that keep us focused on God, doing good work, and being of service to others.
Hmm.
So this might not be part of your interview, but I think something that really helped me because it kind of I mean, it might not have been one of your questions, but when I was 55, um, on my birthday, I was standing in my second floor bedroom, and a bullet came through the wall,
Oh, wow.
and and I didn't know it had happened, but it ricocheted off my back, and it really probably shouldn't have ricocheted, but it did. So I felt like I was spared in that moment, but I just heard some words in my kind of in my head. It said, every day is a gift. Your life is not your own. You're to love God and serve others. And it was like really clear. And so I never, after that, I never felt any fear or uh, anxiety or sense of trauma about what had happened, because I had that sense of peace.
Hmm.
And I'm just thinking, well, okay, if life is a gift, love God and serve others. It's really pretty simple. It's hard, but it's simple. You just have to do that every day. And I share it because I think, I mean, that's probably God's message to everybody.
Yeah.
Love God and serve others.
Right.
And so, but that was pretty momentous for me because it made me think I'm 55. Every moment I have is a gift from here on out. So I need to have that appreciation and try to live that way.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's powerful. Um, Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Did it what hit your bone and bounced off, or?
No, I was folding laundry. My wife was in Japan, and I thought I should get this laundry folded before she comes back. It'll make her really happy. And there was a pop, and I was like, "What just happened?" And I thought the wall blew up because I saw some drywall on the floor. And then I looked around, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, there was a bullet hole." And then I felt my back, and I didn't see any blood, but it just kind of grazed my back,
Wow.
and it left kind of a like a rug burn across my back between my shoulder blades,
Wow.
and it didn't tear my shirt at all, but it still left a burn or a graze mark of some kind. And then the detective said where my position could have been, and I said, well, no, I was standing more upright than that. And then I told him what happened, and he goes, okay, I think you were saved today. One of the police officers that was there.
Yeah.
So so yeah, it was
Absolutely.
just it was kind of a miraculous thing. But so my kids kind of gave me a hashtag. It was 55 and still alive. So
Wow. Yes. Every day is a gift.
yeah.
Yeah. That is fantastic. Uh, is there anything else that you'd like to share, or a question I didn't ask?
Um, I don't know. This was a great time to sit down and talk with you.
Mhm.
I enjoyed all of your questions, and thank you for asking them.
Well, thank you
I
for joining.
I guess the only other thing I'd like to add is that I talked a little bit about having a Christian understanding, or anthropology of the human person, and so I deal with people daily, and I think I deal with people all walks of life,
Hmm.
Christians, uh, people who are agnostic or even atheists, and I feel I need to treat all of those people um, the same. because every soul is important to God.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not proselytizing, but I'm just saying, they're a human being that, in a sense, I can love in a way, and do what I can to be of service for them.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those people are Catholic and they want to go into, or Christian, and they want to go into topics of faith, and I do that, and other people not.
Mm-hmm.
But I always figure, if I'm doing a good service and offering that to God, no matter what, it's going to have a positive impact
Absolutely.
in their life. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd add that.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's just close it out here. I appreciate your time. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Craig.
You bet. Thank you for joining us today for today's episode of the Vocation of Business Leader podcast. I hope you found inspiration and encouragement as we continue to explore how faith and business can truly come together in a powerful way. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share it with fellow business leaders, and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us reach more people striving to live out their faith in the workplace. Until next time, may God guide you in all your endeavors, helping you live courageously and witness to his love in everything you do. God bless, and see you next time.